North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause. I'm the law. It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause. I'm the law. I'm the truth.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the next episode of Secret Sauce to be the Boss. Today we're here with Frank Deaton at Holiday Motors. This is a really interesting place. So there's a lot of vintage cars, and this is extremely different than the last few episodes that we've shot. But like I said, we're gonna bring you different stuff each and every week. So we're focusing on the Charlotte metro area, small business owners, entrepreneurs, self-starters. How you doing today, Frank?
I'm good, Larry. Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having us out.
Thanks for having me.
So the first question I'd like to ask you today is, what got you into this business with these vintage vehicles?
Well, so originally, most people don't realize this, but I'm actually a mechanic by trade.
Okay.
So my first job actually was at Town & Country Ford as a tech out there, and that was probably back in 1990, somewhere around there. But didn't stay in that business because I actually had to go work for my dad. He got sick, and of course I took over back in those days. But I've always had a love for these older cars, and a lot of these that you see in here are actually some of my family's cars. Like this one right here, my mother bought this one brand new at Sam Johnson Lincoln Mercury when it was out on Independence Boulevard back in 1985. So I just have a serious attachment just to the, the style, it takes you back.
And you have a nice setup here.
Thank you.
And this one right here really caught my attention.
Yeah, it's an 03 T-Bird, and it's here on consignment. And so we're asking, I think, $16,900 for it. Fairly low miles, but it's a very iconic attempt to actually bring the T-Bird back. The only problem is Ford seriously overpriced the car. And the hardtop option right here was actually a $3,800 option on top of the base price. So even though there is a rag top underneath, but the car, was just coming in around 42, 43,000, and back then it was just too much.
It looks phenomenal though.
Oh yeah, it looks great. I never really liked what they did with their wheel selections, but as far as bringing back this little window back here, is definitely reminiscent of the 56 and 57, the original T-Bird, which was Ford's response to the Corvette. So that was essentially Ford's first sports car, was the T-Bird.
So tell us what exactly got you into this particular business.
So when I was getting out and transitioning out of the dry cleaning business, I had this building. Fortunately, we own this building. It was the last dry cleaners to be operated, and so when we closed down back in February of 17, I decided I would just repurpose this building and use it. Obviously, it's here, has to do something with it, and decided to open up this business where we do consignment and car detailing. We have a 40-year-old or 40-year experienced detailer here who's made a career out of it, and he's come out of retirement to help me.
Okay. So how's things going since you did the conversion from being dry cleaners to vintage cars?
Well, it's a lot more peaceful, I'll tell you that. It's quiet in here, no employees to worry about. It's just me, and of course, we just, partner up a little bit. But it's nice, and it's a slower pace, and it's just no stress.
No stress.
No stress.
Man, isn't that nice?
It is nice. If only I could sell no stress, I'd be a billionaire.
So besides this particular business, you're also a real estate broker, is that correct?
Correct.
You want to tell us a little bit more about that, and for the people watching, maybe if they ever need a real estate agent?
Well, that's true, and I do residential and commercial. I work with KW Commercial as a referral agent, but currently I hold my license at eXp Realty, so fully licensed broker. We do residential and commercial, and I've been doing that for probably about 5-6 years, somewhere around there. I got my license just as kind of a supplement income, and because I had actually back in the day, I actually had some time on my hands. This thing was kind of on cruise control, and
Okay.
so I was like, well, you know, might as well make use of the time. So I got my license, and I've enjoyed it. So I've helped a lot of people, you know, find great homes, sell their homes, and move some commercial property. In fact, we set an actual new comp trend over on Graham Street. We sold a property back in September, and actually got over $1 million an acre, which is the highest of any sold over in that area.
Something a real notch to put on your belt there.
There you go. Let me put it on there.
So another thing about you is you've also been in the political field. You actually held office recently.
Well, I've never held public office. I held a position in the state Democratic Party. I was the congressional chair of the 9th District. Now, I did run for state office. I ran for the North Carolina House, seat 104 back in 2010. Okay. It was a long time ago, but yeah, but that was a fun experience, and it really taught me a lot, you know, just how the whole system works and whatnot. But I intend to get back in again, so, you know, you'll be seeing websites out there, frankdeatonnow.com.
Okay. So look for that, y'all. And I want to ask, what is it like to be your own boss, to do things your own way, to not be locked into the corporate field, to be a yes man, yes sir, and to have to answer to someone else, but to actually carve your own path and to do your own thing?
So there's pros and cons. Obviously, you have a fluid schedule. You can make your own schedule, you can schedule your own vacations. It's all up to you. However, the burden and responsibility is also on you. So, you know, people who work corporate, yeah, they have to punch a clock 8 to 5, but they don't have to worry about it until 8, and they don't have to worry about it after 5. So, you know, the place could be on fire. It's like not their problem. You know, they're just there doing what they're told to do. When you have your own business, you carry it with you 24/7. Now, assuming everything's going well, that's fine. But if you're having problems or, you know, health issues or inventory issues, these things can be just, you know, a strain on you even after hours. And even if you're on a trip, I mean, you still just carry with you in your mind what's going on because it's all on you.
That's very true.
You know, so it's sink or sail. So yeah, I mean, it's great to be self-employed. It's not for everybody. It's a lot of responsibility, and you got to know the buck stops with you. You know, I've got a friend of 25 years who would probably be the worst, you know, at actually being self-employed. And because he's just not willing to do what it takes when things need to be done. You know, it's just not in it. And then I know people who are just begging to get to that. They just want to get out from under the corporate thumb.
They just need that opportunity.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what this show is catered towards, is people that want to do their own thing. We're actually meeting with these awesome businesses and these hidden gems in Charlotte area, not to only highlight these places, but we're also trying to put information out there for people that want to go their own way, to want to be their own boss, and to follow their dreams and their passion. What advice would you give to those watching that want to take that step, that want to go for it? What great advice do you have to give to them?
Well, you need to actually look at the calculus of it a little bit, because you got to have a good business plan. And before you start into anything, you need to make sure you do market research. And I made the mistake one time. I had a limousine business, and I just think, well, you know, you get a couple limos, they're going to be out every weekend, and you're making money. What I failed to do is actually do a market research just to evaluate, you know, how saturated the market was, and come to find out there's really too many people out there offering the same service. So we never got the volume we needed. So we wound up, you know, after about a year and a half, just closing up and selling the cars off. So a lot of people think they got a great idea and they might invest their savings thinking this is going to work, but it might not. So if you're going to go forward with something like that, you need to hedge your bet. And, you know, you've got to have to put some of your money out there, obviously. But if you can get an SBA loan, you know, some kind of financing that's not going to be detrimental if the business plan fails, is what I would advise. So you don't wind up losing your home, you know, or anything of that nature, because it's just not worth the risk.
And for those of you that don't know what the SBA loan is, that's a small business owner loan, and that association is great at helping people get off the ground. If you have an amazing business idea, you have a passion or something you're trying to follow, I suggest that you look into that particular line of a loan. They really work with people, and they are very good at helping people start from the ground up.
And it's also government financed.
Yes.
And the credit terms are far more flexible than if you were to say go to your bank or, you know, another lending institution. And fortunately, if it fails, you know, the consequences are far less than if you were with a traditional lender.
That's some really good information for you guys out there. So you started off and you had a dry cleaning business. And that went really well for you for a while.
Oh yeah, well my dad started back in '64. He had one place, he had a 1 Hour Martinizing franchise, which was based out of Ohio. And started out with one store and then grew it up to 14 over the years. And this was one of them. This was acquired in '77. And so I've been running around this building since I was 5 years old. You know, it was a great business for a long time. But of course he got sick back in the '90s. I had to step in. Didn't have to, chose to step in to help out. But me and my mother ran it for years. But the industry just started changing. You know, it's kind of not exactly like what happened to the, you know, the videotape or Blockbusters, but people just started going more casual. I mean, and professional attire was no longer, you know, what it used to be.
It used to be you had your suit and tie for work and you had your regular clothes out. Now it's kind of blended.
Well, look at us.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. So, you know, in the old days we would have had ties on, and they used to tell people, send them to classes how to measure where your tie should fall.
Oh man.
You know, what your cuffs should be. I mean, it used to be traditional. You took your shirts and your clothes to the laundry, and that's what you did.
I like how you changed this over, and it has retro feel, and in a few minutes we're going to walk around and check out a lot of what this store has to offer. It's almost like an old school 70s garage, and the TV and the furniture you have up here matches it, and the way it's set up in here. Was that something you did on purpose?
I did because I'm a big fan of, you know, old school, mid-century, all that. And I wanted it to look unique. I wanted it to be seen like a time portal, that when you walk in here, you're going back in time. I mean, you'll see it later. I've got, you know, a console TV up here with my parents' first color TV. I grew up on that TV, played my Atari on that TV.
Oh man.
You know? But I got all.
A lot of you probably don't know what Atari is. It's okay.
That's all right. Google it. But I've got a lot of iconic things here. My parents' first refrigerator when they moved into their first home. And just all kinds of little things. There's a story behind it all. So I've preserved a lot of my own family history, other people's history, you know, obviously with the cars, the stereo equipment, the TVs, everything. I mean, it's kind of almost a museum, you know,
it is.
slash garage, you know.
So tell us, you do consignment, you detail cars, you sell cars, break down everything a little more to us and let everyone know exactly what you do here.
So right, when we first opened up, our primary thrust was consignment. So, you know, we're just taking the burden off of you to sell your car. It makes it safe for you. You don't have to worry about people, you know, coming to your house that you don't know, or worry about going on a test drive and getting carjacked. I mean, you know, we alleviate all that. Now there's a fee for that, and our commission is 15% of the total sales price, with a minimum of $1,200 is our minimum fee. But we've sold a lot of cars. In fact, I've sold some worldwide. I mean, I sold a Porsche back to Germany. I mean, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Really? I mean, I guess they wanted it back. But yeah, so we have sold worldwide, and we can send it, ship it anywhere. If you're looking for something, we can help you find it too. But so yeah, we got that angle of it. Sometimes we buy things and repair them and flip them and sell them to make a margin on them. And of course, then we have our detailing business, which our detailer is, you know, over 40 years experienced. And he does a phenomenal job. I mean, it's amazing what his hands can do when it touches that car. I mean, you won't believe it.
Looks like it came off the showroom floor.
Oh yeah, or as best as it could be. Yeah. So he is definitely, you know, well, I'm not gonna say it, but he could definitely polish you know what.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna actually take a look around the facility, walk around, show you some of these unique and awesome things in this vintage material here and some of these vehicles.
This is my office where I do all my business, obviously, out of. You know, this is a portrait of my grandfather. I don't know exactly when that was done, but that's who I was actually named after. So I'm Frank Deaton II, so I skipped a generation. So I'm named after, my dad named me after him.
Okay.
But this little gem right here is actually a 1979 Zenith that my dad bought for him to put in his bedroom back in '79. So, of course, you know, it's great, got all your little channels and switches and everything. But it was great because it had a remote control, and my granddad loved it because he'd sit in bed and, you know, watch TV.
Okay.
But and then we have some, you know, iconic stuff up here. This is actually a clock that came out that we used to have in one of our stores, but Adjust to Drape was actually a company that made drape cleaning machinery. And see, this is how businesses used to advertise within the industry. They would give you things like this, like a clock, that you would put in your facility, and it's just constant advertising, 24/7.
Name is right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a picture of me and my mother when we were in New York in Christmas of 2013, and
what are these? I don't think people even know what these are anymore.
Cassettes. And we have 8 tracks.
Oh man.
And we have an 8-track
cassette
converter.
Okay. It's really old school. We even got Elvis up in here.
That's right. 8mm film camera. It's like Abraham's Zapruder.
All right, so let's take a little walk out here to the showroom floor and walk through the facility. And there's actually a vehicle right here as soon as you come out that you said used to be your father's that he purchased.
Right, so my dad actually purchased this car for his dad back in 1980. And unfortunately, my granddad passed in 83. And so my dad just started driving it at that point. And he was actually in a really bad accident in this car back in the probably mid-90s. And it was essentially total. So what I did in secret is I actually took it to my shop and I actually repaired it. And this car got hit by a drunk driver all the way in the back. It brought this corner all the way up into here. So what I did is I actually did what you call put a rear clip on it. So we took this rear clip off, we took the diamond out of the frame, railed it, got it straight, put a rear clip on it, and then rebuilt it and redid everything. And I gave it to him, I think, in 1997, Christmas Day, as a surprise. He had no idea.
I bet he was shocked and happy.
He was glad to get back in it.
And for us to have a tiny little bit of age on us, I'm not going to say my age or anything, we remember growing up and having TVs like this in the house.
Oh yeah, that was my parents' first color TV. It's a 1972 Zenith, and I grew up on that TV. That's the one I was mentioning about playing the Atari on earlier.
So as you come through here, I noticed this right here. If this doesn't look like a 70s shag room, I don't know what a 70s shag room looks like with the carpet, the chairs, the old school TV.
But Elvis had his jungle room. This is mine.
Okay. And we still have a TV playing.
That's right. And then we got this console stereo here, which was actually my grandmother's. She bought back in 1970. It has a turntable, radio, and a tape player, which of course plays 8 tracks.
Now hold up, wait a second. What do we have here?
That's my secret phone to the FBI. Now, this is a neat phone. I found this on eBay a couple years ago, and it works. I don't have it hooked up, but it does work. It is made by, I forget the company that made this. Actually, it says, I can't see it, but it was some Bell company that actually made that phone. It wasn't AT&T.
That is an old school phone there.
That is.
So, I see you have your racks up with your vehicles on it. Is there anyone in particular that stands out you want to tell us a little story about?
Well, yeah, so this was my dad's Pinto. He bought that new in '73. And interesting story, we can't see it because we can't get all the way under there, but my dad, of course, carried a gun with him when he worked during the day. And so being safe, every time he'd come home, he'd just pull the chamber, make sure it was clear, and pull the trigger just to make sure he wasn't bringing a loaded gun in the house. Well, somehow, I don't know, a bullet got in the chamber, and when he was doing that, he actually shot a hole in the floor of his car. Yeah, it was just a 22 Ruger, but that bullet hole is still in there. Oh. And I've never filled it in. I've actually did another video with somebody and showed them the actual bullet hole. But yeah, it's there.
And what do we have here?
So this is a '89 town car, Lincoln Town Car, triple black. It's a little dusty, forgive me. But it's got black leather interior, black carriage top, and of course black paint. It's a really cool car, and that's the last year they made that body style.
One that has really caught my attention that I definitely wanted to get on film and show you guys is this right here. This baby right here really caught my attention when I came in here. You want to tell us about this?
Sure. So this is an '04 Chevrolet SSR. It's only got, I think, 23,000 miles on it, so it's here on consignment. This car was originally sold, or not sold, was originally given to the dealership owner's wife. She drove it maybe a year, and then she sold it to the couple that owns it now. Okay. And they have it here on consignment.
Very interesting car.
Fully loaded. Of course, this is a hardtop convertible. All this retracts back in here. Got a 327 V8. Very powerful. Sounds great. I mean, it runs like a striped ape.
And here we come up on a Harley.
Yeah, this is my girl. So this is an 05 Harley Davidson Super Glide. And this is a beautiful machine.
It sure is.
I don't get out that much like I used to, but you know, we keep it here. I keep a trickle charger on it, so anytime I want to fire it up, it's ready to go.
So as you come through the doors here, this is actually out here where the car washes take place. You can come get your car washed, full detailed. It doesn't matter if you've ever done business here. You come by and say, hey, I want to get my car washed.
That's right. That's right. We're here 6 days a week, you know, Monday through Saturday. So, you know, you can just pop in. You don't need an appointment. You know, we unless we are obviously occupied. You know, but most days we have flexibility to get you in, get you out.
And you're kind of like on the corner here of the highway. So no matter which way you're going, you can pull in from this side or this side. See your sign right here at the front. So if you guys don't know exactly where this place is at, tell them the location so if they want to come out and see you.
So sure, we're actually very centrally located. So we're at 3221 Monroe Road, right behind the Bojangles Arena, formerly the Charlotte Coliseum, which coincidentally was the largest dome structure in the world when it was built and finished in 1958. Most people don't know that. But yeah, so we're right near Cotswold, uptown. Come see us, we'll take care of you.
And you can see the city skyline right there. Like I told you, we're gonna be in the heart of the city, telling you about hidden gems and jewels in the area that you don't necessarily know about. So as we'll catch the front of this building, man, I see that you have cool signs up here. So are these your trailers here?
So one of them, the Airstream, is mine. It's a 1973, and I'm actually rehabbing it for personal use and some marketing use. The other one is Podcast Charlotte. We've done work on that one, and of course the vehicle they use until we service that vehicle. But this is a new company. Again, you're talking about startups. This is a startup. It's going to be a mobile podcast studio, and we can come in and, you know, they'll go to events or whatever, come to you, and you can actually do your podcast and make any kind of recording in there that you like.
Man, all this awesome.
All this artwork was done by an artist locally, and from time to time they'll probably change it, and the artist might redo the camper in a different theme or motif. But very interesting. You know, the Abraham Lincoln Honesty Bro. You know,
yeah.
We got Dare to Dream with Dr. King.
This is really unique. I like this.
Yeah. It is, it's cool. And this is I think a 1964 model camper. I don't know the manufacturer.
And you can focus in on here, obviously, if you want to check him out. So what do you say we go back inside and finish talking about some things that our viewers might want to know about self-startups?
Sure, sounds good.
So a couple more questions that our viewers might want to know. Mm-hmm. What happens when you start your own business and the honeymoon phase is over? The honeymoon phase is usually where family and friends come out and support you because they're so happy that you went on, you did your own thing, you followed your dreams. But when that initial little rush stops and then you have to find real customers to make real money to support your business, when that dead zone comes and those bills are still coming, what did you do and what would you suggest to other people that want to start their own business?
Well, first of all, I did pay my bills. So didn't stiff anybody. But yeah, you talk about the honeymoon phase. Mm-hmm. That's kind of typically when you're, you know, initially capitalized. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you got a green light. It's like, okay, let's do this. It might be, you know, building the place out or whatever you're doing to actually get to the point where you're opening your doors and you're in business. That is fun. Now, once you get past that, you know, you got a little grand opening. We had a grand opening party here. I had friends, family, all that. It was all fun. But once you get past that, then that's when the rubber hits the road.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when you got to things the right revenues coming in. And like I say, if you come up short, you might have to go get more funding, mm-hmm. you know, or recapitalize, find an investor perhaps to come in, might want to share the burden of the cost. I mean, there's several options, but you know, the mortality rate on new businesses is fairly high, especially these days. You can't do necessarily what my dad did back in the 60s. That's just, it just costs too much. I mean, the amount of money, it took him $10,000 to start his first store.
That was a lot of money in the
64.
'60s.
But it was.
Yes.
It was. But even to start, even if say you want to open up a dry cleaners today, you know, with a fully operating plant and whatnot, you're probably looking at about $300,000 to $350,000 or more just in equipment. That's not including your lease to payment, your deposit on that, any other expenses coming up. So it's just, to get that kind of money is hard today, and for that business to be a success. I mean, a lot of your startups are now, like Alibaba. Well, they put, hundreds of millions of dollars into that in 9 years to get it where it is, and it's a billion-dollar company.
Yes.
But your average person can't do that.
Right.
So it's a lot harder these days. If you want to be an entrepreneur, yeah, it can happen, sure, but it's more challenging today.
So I try to tell people to find something that you're passionate about. If you try to start something because you've seen someone else's business model was successful, or something you're trying to get involved with someone else, or just an idea you had to try to make money, that's nice. And sometimes that might work out, sometimes you might make money. But if you find something you're passionate about, you will put the work in to follow your passion. That's one tip I would like to give to people. Follow your passion, and if you're going to start a business in an area you know that you're fully invested in. Obviously, cars was one of your passions. You was a mechanic before you switched to this.
Right.
So that really touched home with you.
Sure, I'm not dependent on somebody else. I mean, if something breaks, I can fix it, whatever, I can do my own repairs of the building and all that. But you bring up a good point, because if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Perfect.
And I would advise everybody, don't chase the money, chase the creative. And if you do that, it's going to be your passion, and you will live a long, happy life.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode of Secret Sauce to Be Your Own Boss.
Bye, guys.
It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause, I'm the law. It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause, I'm the law.